Good day to you all and welcome to today's Sunday teaching. Today we'll be dealing with the second part of the Bible story that we started last week. And in doing a recap of what we started last week, we started from God, how Satan rebelled against God, how he deceived man, how the first man and woman, Adam and Eve, sinned. From there to how Noah sin increased, God flooded the world, and how they built the Tower of Babel. Then we stopped at when God came to Abraham and called him. So from there now, God called Abraham that he should leave his father's land, and Abraham immediately left with everything and went to the promised land. So today now we'll be doing the part 2, or we'll be continuing from the part 2. So Abraham arrived in the land of Canaan, which is the promised land, and God promised to give him the land. He promised to give him the land and to his descendants. So as the story continued, when famine came to the land of Canaan, Abraham, not yet called Abraham, he went to Egypt. He went to Egypt to stay there. And because his wife was very beautiful, he was afraid. So he called his wife his sister, and Pharaoh took her from him. So when God inflicted serious disease on Pharaoh and his household, Pharaoh told Abraham that why will Abraham say Sarah was his sister instead of telling him that she is his wife. So because of the disease and all that God inflicted on them, they were afraid, and they sent Abraham away with all his property and added more things for him. So as I've said in the last part of the story, Abraham left with his Lot. He went with his nephew Lot. And so as they began to grow, whoever the blessing of God is with, he will grow. The blessing mainly was with Abraham, but Lot followed Abraham, so Lot also shared in the blessing. So as they began to grow in wealth and in possession, quarrel began to come, or quarrel arose between the men of Abraham and the men of Lot. Then Abraham said to Lot, instead of you and I quarreling, let us separate. Since we are large, let us separate. Then he now gave option to Lot to choose a land that he will go to, and Lot looked and saw a fertile land. He saw a fertile land of Jordan. He saw that the land was good, flourishing, and he went to it. Unknownly to him, the blessing was not with him. The blessing was with Abraham. The blessing was with Abraham, not with him. So anywhere that Abraham went to, he succeeded. So Lot went a separate land, and they attacked him. The king of Sodom and Gomorrah with other people, they attacked where Lot was staying, and they kidnapped Lot and took everyone in that particular place. They kidnapped Lot and took everyone in that particular place, both men and women. They took them as slaves. So when Abraham heard that they have attacked and kidnapped his nephew Lot, he ambushed them at night and took back everyone plus the possession that was attacked. So he recovered back everything. After this part of the Abraham, we'll be skipping some things so that will not take much time, because if I want to continue going like this, it will take much time. So he recovered back everything, and after recovering back everything, he went to the priest Melchizedek. And Melchizedek blessed him, and Abraham gave him tenth of everything. That is where tithes started from. Abraham gave him tenth of everything. So as the story keeps on going, God made this covenant with Abraham, that is Abraham, and it was credited to him as righteousness because he believed. So as the matter they go, Sarah said he can't continue like this, so he suggested that Abraham have her maidservant Hagar. She suggested that Abraham have her maidservant Hagar, and gradually Abraham accepted and laid with her, and she became pregnant. So when Hagar discovered that she became pregnant, she despised Sarah, and Sarah complained to Abraham that it's Abraham's fault. Meanwhile, she was the one that suggested. So she complained to Abraham that it's Abraham's fault, and Abraham said she should do anything with her. She should do anything with her. So Sarah maltreated her, she left, and God told her to come back, and she came back. So when Abraham was 99, that is Abraham now, was 99 years old, God made covenant of circumcision with him. He made the covenant with him, and all. You can also check it in Genesis. He made the covenant with him. All part of the story of Abraham, he did Genesis. So this part, they did Genesis. We have not left Genesis, but in the next teaching or in the next story, as we continue, we'll be going fast. We'll be going fast so that we'll be able to catch up. Because I don't pray, or I'm not thinking that this teaching or this story will pass 4 weeks. Maximum 4 weeks, we'll be done with our story. Today will not be taking much time, but maximum 4 weeks will be done with our story, and this is week 2 and we're still in Genesis. So we'll be going faster than usual. So in Sodom and Gomorrah, sin increased. You know, Lot separated from Abraham the other time, and one way or the other he found himself in Sodom and Gomorrah. He found himself in Sodom and Gomorrah, and sin increased in that land. He increased in that land, and God came down to come and see what's happening. So the 3 visitors came. When Abraham recognized them, he went to them, served them and all. And they said, when they were about to go, God said to himself, can I hide from my servant Abraham what I'm about to do? So there's an extent to come that God cannot hide things for you. He will have to share with you. So he said, can I hide from my servant Abraham what I'm about to do? And a discussion happened between them, whether they find so righteous in the land, he will he destroy it till they reach the limit. And he said, no, he will not destroy it. And the angel went down to, that is the 3 visitors went down to Sodom and Gomorrah, and they couldn't find anyone righteous apart from only Lot and his family. Apart from only Lot and his family. Then Sodom and Gomorrah was destroyed, leaving out only Lot and his family. That is, they went out of the land before God destroyed the land. Before God destroyed the land with fire. And as they were going out of the land, God told them not to look back, not to remember the things of Sodom and Gomorrah. They should just go forward. But his wife, Lot's wife, looked back and she turned into salt. In the children's story, you'll be seeing that someone turned into salt. Now Lot's wife be that. She looked back and turned into salt. That looking back now might be like she's thinking of what they used to do in Sodom and Gomorrah, thinking of the enjoyment, all this type of thing. So she looked back and turned into salt. Then as we continue the story, Abraham can't give birth to Isaac. And as Abraham gave birth to Isaac, that is the wife of Abraham, Sarah, she became pregnant and gave birth to Isaac. And because Sarah had her own child, she started being jealous, started thinking. So she went to Abraham that they should send away Hagar and Ishmael, so that Ishmael, be the firstborn of Abraham, will not be able to share in the possession of Abraham. So as usual, Sarah, they sent Hagar and Ishmael out. They sent them out of the house, and they went into the desert. They went out into the desert. And what happened in the desert was that their provision finished. And Hagar left Ishmael because she couldn't watch Ishmael die. She went somewhere to go and weep while Ishmael will stay there to die. Hagar wept, God did not answer. But when Ishmael, the small baby, wept, God answered and came down. God answered and came down. That is to tell you that God is the protector of little babies. God answered and came down and asked, why are you weeping? And he also blessed Hagar and Ishmael, that he also turned Ishmael into a great nation, since he is the son of Abraham. So as the story continued, God came to Abraham and told him that he wanted to test him. He told him that he should sacrifice or kill his only son Isaac. And as Abraham dey do am, he no tell him wife Sarah, because if he would have told his wife would have not agreed. So he can't carry Isaac. They can't go out far place. They can't arrange all the wood finish. Isaac on the axe, Father, this is the wood, this is the oil and everything. Then where is the sacrifice? So as time come reach, Abraham tie Isaac, carry knife to kill am, until God spoke to him that because of this he has done, he blessed him, he promised him that whoever curse him will be cursed and all. He blessed him and all. Then he told him that he should look into the bush. He will see a ram. He will see a ram there. He should sacrifice it. So he looked into the bush, saw a ram, sacrificed it to God. Then our story kept on going. Abraham, a time came that Abraham had to get a wife for his son Isaac. Then he sent his older servant to go and look for a wife for his son Isaac, and he told him not to get anyone from the people living in the land of Canaan because of their sin. He said he should go to his relative and get Isaac a wife. And due to one or two searches, Rebekah was given to Isaac. Rebekah was given to Isaac. And Isaac laid with Rebekah. She became pregnant and gave birth to Jacob and Esau. Esau came out first. Then Jacob grabbed him to the heels of Esau, and they both came out. But last, Esau came out first. Esau came out first. Then when Rebekah was pregnant, God said to him, 2 nations are in your womb, and 2 people from within you will be separated. One people will be stronger than the other, and the older will serve the younger, and the older will serve the younger. So even the even the birthright that was taken from Esau, it was prophesied from childbirth. Before they even gave birth to them, it was prophesied that is going to happen. So 2 people, 2 nations in the womb of Rebekah, Esau and Jacob. So Esau was the firstborn, Jacob being the secondborn. That is who came out first. On this fateful day, Esau, being a hunter, came back home. Jacob is always staying with the mother. Esau, being a hunter, came back home, and he's loved by his father because he's a hunter. He brings back food and all. He came back home being hungry, so he sold his birthright for a pot of stew to Jacob. So you see where the manipulation is also happening. He sold his birthright. He thought it was just normal something. So one fateful day, as Isaac grew old and became blind and all, he couldn't see where, he called his son Esau so that he would give him the birthright, the blessings, and Rebekah held it. As Esau went to hunt and bring back meat to prepare for his father so that he can receive his blessing, Rebekah planned with Jacob, dressed him, cooked for him, and they brought for his father. His father said, your voice is the voice of Jacob, but your skin is the skin of Esau. So after eating the stew, he became satisfied. He blessed Jacob. And Esau came in immediately after Jacob took the blessing, wept and became jealous of his brother. For him not to kill his brother Jacob, Jacob was sent away. Jacob was sent away. I think because of time, we'll be stopping at where this part, when Jacob ran for him to escape death. We'll be stopping at this part. Then next week by God's grace, we'll be finishing the Old Testament. We'll be going faster, like we'll be going with the speed of light next week. I pray to God that he gives us understanding that next week. So we'll be going with the speed of light. That is next week. Then upper week will enter New Testament and conclude it by God's grace. Once again, happy Sunday and have a blessed Sunday ahead of you. May God help us. Amen.